So we're looking at Chapter 12 homework, and the first problem we have lists different accounts. It's wanting you to identify their category, what their classification is, and which report they are on. So the category may be a little tricky on some of these. When you get to one that may be, let me see here, they all look like they're either asset owner or liability. If I was going to say, if they pull in a revenue or an expense account, it will be under owner's equity is usually where they put it. Then the classification, you got to figure out, is it current or long-term? Now remember, plant and equipment is like your long-term assets, right? So is it going to be paid within a year for current liability, or is it going to take longer than a year to pay it? Is it going to last a year or be used up in a year for an asset, or is it going to last or be used longer than a year? And then remember which financial statement they're on. So I think it's a good refresher, making sure we understand these categories of current and long-term. Journal entries, closing journal entries. So they're going to give you a worksheet. Now you got to think about, what do we close out? Income summary, revenues, and expenses. So we're not dealing with these items over here, right? So we're closing out these types of items. The other thing you have to watch down here at the bottom, you guys get in a habit of, oh, we're doing everything at the bottom. Remember, salaries payable, and you can see it's on the balance sheet, is not on the income statement. So you're closing out the income statement. Here's the trick. You have net income of 807. That should be a number you use in your third journal entry. So I'm just going to leave it at that and let you work at it, but you're doing your closing entries for this problem. We come in and do a balance sheet, and it's telling you partial balance sheet because it's having you just do the asset side right here. So make sure from your information that you have, you can identify what are current assets, what are your long-term or fixed assets, plant and equipment is what they're going to call it. You may not use all of these on this worksheet. You got to be able to identify those accounts and put them in the right order. Remember, a single line means subtotal. So you're usually adding or subtracting the numbers in that column above the line, and your results will be put in the total column. So these are not debit and credits. They are subtotal and total columns. A double underline means that's the final number for that section. So it's been a while since we've done some balance sheets, but hopefully you remember those from the previous class. Fourth problem is journalizing adjusting entries. They want you, they want you to do that reversing entry. I don't want you guys doing that part. Journalize and post the payment of payroll. I think I'll go in and I may adjust your homework. I think I may pull this problem out because I really don't want you guys doing reversing entries, and I don't want you to get thrown off on that. So when you watch this video, when you actually get to your homework, this one probably won't be in there because I didn't realize the second part was reversing. I thought it was just adjusting entries. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. 12-4. You are identifying the classification. So it's kind of like the first problem, making sure you know what goes in what category. This one is the income statement. So you can go in and fill that out. Now when you get in here to this cost of goods sold, you may want to refer back to your book because this is going to be the part where they have to go in and figure out what is your purchases, less purchase returns and allowances, add in your freight, what is your ending. So when you have this worksheet, they're giving you the items on the income statement, and you're having to use these here. This first part up here, Revenue, so it's going to be sales less sales returns and allowances, less sales discounts gives you net sales. So that's those numbers. You're going to put your returns and allowances and your discount here, subtotal those up and put them in this line. And then you're going to take your sales minus, even though this will be a positive number, it's got the word less over here. So you're going to subtract whatever your total is to get your net sales. Don't add the two together. And then you're going to calculate gross profit. And then it's probably going to have you go into the next part and do your expenses. So you may have to categorize these expenses out between operating and administrative. Question 7, statement of owner's equity. And then you're going to do what they call a classified balance sheet. So from that information, you're going to have to put these into either current assets or current liabilities. Now, the whole purpose why you have to do the statement of owner's equity first is because you got to get your ending capital. The capital that you have here is your beginning capital. So you have to calculate your new ending capital because that rolls over. So really you're going to have 6 problems because I'm going to go back and take number 4 out. And that pretty much covers everything that I wanted you guys to do for the chapter. Know your statements, know the classifications, know the closing entries.